Hey everybody out there on the internet, welcome again to another edition of Give It a Shot, Spotlight Edition, and today I've decided to review Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, which is something I had not really heard of until I ran into this DVD at a secondhand store. Most people know who Pac-Man is. Famous video game character from the 1980s, and for whatever reason keeps getting resurrected through needless reincarnations of games and offshoots and things like that. But here we are. I loved Pac-Man growing up. I still enjoy playing a good game of Pac-Man. That or Miss Pac-Man, either one is fine by me. Always been fun. This isn't the first time Pac-Man has ever had a cartoon. In fact, when I was very young, there was a Pac-Man cartoon on Saturday mornings. I mean, it was interesting. It had a purpose. I mean, they somehow created, cobbled together a story with literally nothing other than a yellow character with white dots and 4 ghosts, and they somehow created something out of that. And since then, there's been lore attached to the franchise. I guess you could call it a franchise, because Pac-Man has gone through some weird things, and anytime anybody talks about Pac-Man, it's usually the first 2 games. Nobody that I'm aware of talks about Pac-Man Jr. or Super Pac-Man or Pac-Land or Pac-Mania, Pac-Man 2 The New Adventures, Pac-Attack. Nobody really does, and that's for good reason. They're all kind of terrible. I'm a bit of a video game collector. You probably noticed that during the reviews that I sit in front of a wall of games, and there are some Pac-Man titles in there. Pac-Man's been kind of used and abused for a good chunk of time now, and this is just furthering that. I don't know what it is about this DVD. I don't know if this is like the middle set, because in the insert here, I'm assuming this is a all the episodes are put into I guess there was only like 12 episodes. I can only imagine, because this is one of those collection of episodes type deals. And I guess the one that I should have got if I had the opportunity was one called Pac is Back, because this one, All You Can Eat, which is the episode that I watched, I have a lot of questions. I gotta get the story out of the way first, the plot of this first, before I even remotely get into my issues with this. Here's what I know about this version of Pac-Man. Pac-Man is a high schooler, because that's something I thought Pac-Man would be doing, be in high school, because that already leaves a lot of questions. He defends Pac-World, I think is what it was called, Pac-World, from the ghosts, and there are more than just the 4. There's a whole legion of ghosts that he defends from. And this episode in particular, Pac-Man really likes to eat. It's never been a secret. I mean, he eats all the pellets, and then the power pellets, and then the fruit and all that. So yeah, he's known as a bit of a glutton. There's a bit of a food shortage because of how much he's eating. Because the ghosts, and this is one of the questions I'm going to ask later, the 4 ghosts that we know start feeding him because the leader of the ghost, I think his name was Betrayus, instead of, I have a lot of things I could say about that, but regardless, he orders that, Pac-Man needs to be fed until he's full, and when he's full, we can attack. Fine.
You will get Pac-Man to eat so much that he'll be too full to eat anything else. Power berries are ghosts.
They go through all of this, these 4 ghosts, try to feed him, and Pac-Man ends up eating all the food that's available in Pac World, and so they're like, well, why don't we feed him nether food? Which, this food is disgusting. Just roll some clips of this disgusting garbage. Yeah, this is what you're dealing with. It's not pretty at all, and he eats a lot of it. Pac-Man apparently is a garbage disposal. He just devours. There's no end in sight. He's now apparently in the same league as Kirby. And Kirby is known to devour worlds, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah. But in the end, they do succeed. The ghosts do succeed in getting him full, and then there's a bit of an invasion, and then characters try to get Pac-Man to, get hungry again, and they do, and then he saves the day. So here come the questions. 1. I understand that this is probably in the middle of the season. I'm pretty sure this thing only had 1 season, because there's no way I would have greenlit a 2nd season of this. Because one of my problems that I had watching this was, I was practically tuned out. This is so bland. It is so bland. It's damn near forgettable. That's how bland it is. That's why I'm taking this shot. Because this horrible shot I will remember this shot longer than I'll remember anything that happened with this episode. Oh. So, question 1. Why are the 4 ghosts, Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde, friends with Pac-Man?
Pac has become our friend, but how can we be his friend if we work for Betrayus?
It's inferred in this. I don't know how that happened, and I don't care to know, because I'm probably never going to go back into this unless I get really thin on DVDs to watch. Why they are friends with this version of Pac-Man. That's never been a thing. I mean, in the original cartoon, they were always looking to get him for whatever reason. But they're friends, and they kind of feel guilty for force-feeding him all this food. I don't know why, but that's a thing. I'm a little grumpy at the fact that Pinky has to be the girl when you could easily have done the Miss Pac-Man rules where Clyde is Sue, but you didn't. So there's that. Second question that I have revolves around the notion that Pac-Man is still in school. Now, I don't know what he's in school for. If this is college or high school, I'm going to assume high school because it has a lot of the high school tropes.
Leave some food for the other students!
Yeah, Pac Blip!
He's still in school, and he eats so much that he gets suspended from the cafeteria.
Oh man, that's harsh. Suspended from the lunchroom?
Now where are we supposed to eat?
As long as he's paying, who cares? I mean, that's money. You gotta think this stuff through, yo. Why are you... But then again, with the food-related issues in this story, I have a lot of problems. Like, so when the ghosts finally have to start feeding him, Pac-Man is totally cool with eating food that's unattended. He doesn't know if it's poisonous. I don't think he cares that it's poisonous. For all intents and purposes, it's all stolen, which is something that the president of Pac-World, which is another thing that I had no clue was any kind of office, tells him, if you eat more than 3 meals a day, we will have to arrest you. Or, like, when he's finally confronted, they're gonna shoot him for eating! Like, the thing that he's known for.
One more bite, and hero or not, they will have to blast you.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. These are some convoluted stories. So, I've already got those issues with Pac-Man getting, threatened of execution if he were to eat more. And canonically, he's violating a lot of things here. First and foremost, Pac-Man can't eat ghosts unless he has a power pellet, which they had to change in this because pellet sounds a lot like, I guess, drugs. So they call it a power berry.
Just one little power berry and you'll be good to go.
That is how he has traditionally eaten ghosts. He eats the power pellet, power berry. The ghosts turn blue, then he can eat them. Here, it doesn't matter. Whatever the ghost is, whatever color it is, it's eaten. No problems whatsoever. So you're going against canon. Furthermore, when he does have a power berry, he turns into a robot. He turns all silver and gets all this weird shine to him, and then he just sucks the ghosts out of God knows where with a ghost magnet, and then eats them. I just don't get it. Just kind of do it. I mean, I'm not trying to be like a 1983 Pac-Man animation purist or anything, but eat the power pellet, then eat the ghosts. Like Popeye. You eat the spinach, then the problems are solved. You could have went that route. That's not hard, but no. This Pac-Man just eats. Pills and everything else be damned. He can just eat. And it kind of defeats the purpose then of the pill then, because if he can just eat, then he doesn't need the pill, so... I'm looking at you, Gorby. Probably gonna have to down you here in a second, because Pac-Man also has new friends. I don't know their names. They may have said them, but I don't know them. So I'll just call them Red Looking Carrot and Purple Girl, because that's basically what I've got. The Red Looking Carrot contributes nothing. He's just as dim-witted as Pac-Man.
Hey, dude, you might be the reigning Chow King, but I'm a close second.
The girl is, I'm guessing, the smart one, because she's got glasses, and everybody knows when you wear glasses, you're obviously smart in the entertainment industry. And she's the one who solves the problem, like, who's doing the stuff who's giving the free food to Pac-Man, because that's what the ghosts are doing.
Look! Orange ghost slime!
Thanks!
She's Velma. She's basically Velma from Scooby-Doo. She just knows, and has a knack for tech stuff. Although, there are moments in this where it feels like, it's one of those things where it's the, hey fellow kids moments, like when she comes up and asks if they want to go on their hoverboards.
Want to go to Pac Park? Catch some air on our hoverboard?
Is anybody really trying here? That's really what I assume with this entire thing. The story is flimsy at best. the animation looks solid. I'll give them that. I mean, there are moments where I see clipping and things like that, but it's not bad. It looks good, but it's not. The story is just damned forgettable. You got Boss Ghost who wants to invade, but you gotta stuff Pac-Man to the gills, and that's hardly possible. But then when you actually do it, it looks like the end of a porno. Yeah, it's really just something I'd like to forget. As if Gorby's gonna help with that. So, yeah, it's not. It falls under the problem that I always have when it comes to reviewing things. You can be bad, okay, when you create something. It happens. Bad just happens. Now, whether it's bad in a holy God, this is just unbearable dreck. That's kind of memorable. But when it's bad, or if it's bad and it's memorable because it's done in such a way that makes you laugh, that has its merits too. But this falls in the middle, where it is just forgettable. I've already said that so many times now, but that's what it is. I just finished watching this and walked up here and I'm recording this, and I've nearly forgotten everything. And as I'm talking about it, things are coming back, but it's just not good. And going back to the questions that I have, why does Pinky have a crush on Pac-Man?
Maybe Pac will be so grateful he'll get us our bodies back. Or at least invite me to the movies.
What is that about? Or the line about, there's a line where she says, maybe we'll get our bodies back. What the hell does that mean? What kind of dark world is this? Or the line where the ghost boss says that the Pac president is his brother.
For your own good, and for the good of Pac World, you'll be limited to 3 meals a day.
Ah, that insipid brother of mine has ruined my plans again!
I don't understand that either. But like I said, some of this might be answered if I'd actually watched the rest of the episodes, or maybe got to watch the first episode, but I don't care. I really don't. When I look at this and I think about the first version of Pac-Man cartoons, I'd rather go back to the first one, even though that's just kind of bad. And I mean, at least it was simplified and it made sense. This is kind of cringe, but it's just bland cringe. It's just like, yeah, this is a thing that exists, and here you go. The only thing of merit that I can actually give this is the voice actors. They got good voice actors for this. The usual Canadian stock. Ashley Ball, Andrea Libman, Lee Tokar, Ian Corlett, Drummond, Sam Vincent. So like, as I'm watching this, all I hear is Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie, and the one that I thought was, and this is another thing that kind of threw me off, the voice actor for Pac-Man, it doesn't work for me. I mean, Pac-Man should, it's Pac-Man. I don't, he sounds a little too young. Like, the voice is a little too high. He should be a little bit lower. Not like Isaac Hayes low, but, you know, something a little bit beefier. But that's just me, and that's what I'm accustomed to, because they used to have the guy who voice acted Fred Flintstone for the original Pac-Man. So, yeah, that's kind of why it throws me off. So when he first started speaking, I was just kind of like, what is this? So yeah, I hear a lot of pony voices in this. Yay, I guess. But everything else just isn't worth it. It goes against a lot of Pac-Man canon. So it just kind of hurts my head. Not that I'm a Pac-Man purist or anything, but it just doesn't work for me. I don't know if this had more than one season, and I hope it didn't because it is kind of bad. I do know, because when I was looking at this, and I was like, wait a minute, didn't they have a game for Wii U about this? And they do, which seems fitting because it's a series of Pac-Man that's forgettable on a Nintendo console that's practically forgettable. So, but yeah, it's nothing to write home about. It's just bland misery. I probably didn't even really talk about anything of merit of the whole episode, but there really isn't anything. I probably skipped over a lot of stuff, but I just don't care. That's how bad this is. I don't care. I mean, at least with others, like when I watched anything else on Give It a Shot, for the most part, I've had some investment with it. Even with the Mycene debacle, where I was basically taking extra shots, it's because I cared. This I don't. That's saying something. That's just how, God, boring this was. So, 2 shots out of 4, we got the Gorby. Because, I mean, I kind of want to drink away the misery, but it's kind of too bland to even have misery. So, there you go. 2. Maybe next time, Pac-Man, but just not today. So until next time, kids, toodles.